Everybody ready?
From Canada, where hundreds of refugees are seeking asylum from the lunatic asylum, it's Ed the Sock Lives! From the Toronto headquarters of Pigeon Row!
Oh,
all right. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Ed the Sock. You're here at Pigeon Row. Okay, tonight our topics we're going to be chatting with you live about include Sir John A., the people who want to take his name off of a school, ESPN pulling broadcaster Robert Lee because of his name, even though he's Asian and not white. And we'll be talking about the Joker movie that Martin Scorsese is supposed to be producing, and I fucking hate the Joker. And later on in the show, our new hinterland, don't do that, our new hinterland Who's Who, updated Bears this week with the voice track provided by our very own Max.
Woo! And of course, Max is the only one not in frame right now because you're blocking him out.
All right, fine, there.
Hello,
Why you gotta block
everyone.
the black man?
Ed's racist.
All right.
Off to a fine start.
Okay, so and tonight also fake news. I'll be giving a little wrap up of the week's news. But first, before we do anything, I want to remind you people out there: when you're watching on Facebook, you can do this thing called like. All right, press. Where's the little? Yeah, you see that like thing? You see that little thumbs up? That little thumbs up thing? Press that thing. Okay? Because I know most of my audience is used to just watching the program and not interacting with it. It's not like millennials who feel like they don't exist unless they give input on programming. So do me a favor. Click right now. Click that little like. I don't even care if you click the dislike button. In fact, that might even make me happier. But either way, click that frickin' button. Okay, guys? Also, feel free to share. We're broadcasting now. Share this with other people that are on your Facebook page. Also, YouTube, when you're watching this on YouTube, please make a point of subscribing. Yeah?
Well, I'm sharing on Facebook.
Well, can you do that after?
No, you told me to do it now.
When do you do what I tell you to do? Of all times, this is the one time she does what I tell her to do.
I live on the internet. It's like, share. I know how to do that.
And also, there is not a dislike button.
What?
There's not a dislike.
All right, okay, here, YouTube, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe thing. It doesn't mean that you're going to get, like, lots of spam email about how to increase your penis size or a letter from a Nigerian prince. It just means they'll let you know when there's a new video up. So please hit subscribe. Yeah, you're not going to get that guy who's currently residing in my mouth almost. So please, do me a favor. Do this stuff. I know this is mostly kid stuff, but we got to do it these days. So do me a favor and hit subscribe. Also, if you want to help us out, Patreon. There's our Patreon. What are you laughing at?
I got it right.
Yeah, what the hell's Gianna laughing at? I don't care.
Because it was super fast. I was on it that time. I was like, I'm ready this time.
Are we done patting ourselves on the back?
No, it was hyperactive because I missed the last
Very
one.
good. All right, you get a gold star. All right, so patreon.com, Ed the Sock Live. Go there and help support us. It's a monthly fee. People have been giving $5, $10, $25 a month, $50, whatever you can afford. Go there and help us make this broadcast continue to happen and expand. All right. What else is going on? Okay, so is there a problem, Lonnie?
We got to, I think, turn your mic down a little bit because the audience is saying on Twitter, or sorry, on Facebook, that you're sounding a little crackly and
Just
echoey.
2 people said it.
Well, Raya just hopped outside and heard it too, and I trust Raya.
Perhaps this is
I trust Raya.
a good time to say we have a fill-in audio person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's blame Anthony.
Well, not blame. Let's just put in context, okay?
Nick is sick tonight. We hope he feels better. And so don't kiss him. I'm not homophobic. I just couldn't stand to see those
Lonnie
two
was
kissing.
showing support. It wasn't kissing. If Lonnie was going to kiss him, he'd have that weird dental appliance.
Just a tip, Lonnie.
Yeah,
just a
that's a
tip.
no
Yeah, we are actually driving a bit high. What's going on here?
Yeah, do something, will you?
Just pull everybody down.
Okay.
Yeah, that should fix the problem, right? Or power on, power off.
Lower.
Lower.
This is when Anthony learns that Ed is always louder on air than he is in sound checks. Ed, keep talking.
Okay.
Lower.
Lower. Thank you for letting us know, chat.
Almost there.
All right.
What are we doing here?
Keep going.
We're known for. Is it still too loud?
Yeah, you're still too loud.
What the hell is
I
going
took
on?
down all of the gain.
What the hell?
No, pull the slider down.
Yeah, the slider's almost all the way down.
That's
What the hell?
really weird.
I
It's
told
like
you I needed to turn down the sensitivity in the mic. But
bypassing the board. I'll try to pull it down on the broadcast. Is that any better?
all right, is it any better? Am I still too loud?
I don't have a lot of room here.
You're not.
Whisper.
You're not.
Maybe the whole show I'll just whisper.
Hey, everybody.
Here, I'll do a Moses. The whole show I'll whisper.
That's good.
Is that what better? Maybe I'll just whisper the whole show.
That would be
So much
perfect.
for getting the show off to a quick start.
It's okay.
Well,
We're better now. Raya's giving the thumbs up.
everyone sings.
Better
Yeah,
Raya's
okay,
giving
I
the
pulled it
thumbs.
down on the main mix.
There we
so,
go.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Better because I'm whispering, not because I'm talking loud. Is it bad again? Everybody, is it bad again? Now that I'm
Should
talking
be
loud?
okay.
That is
Should be
definitely
okay.
better. That's
It
what Chris
shouldn't-
Mercer says.
Yeah,
Alright.
it shouldn't be.
not
It
clipping?
shouldn't be hitting 0 anymore.
All right. Well,
Even if you
sorry
don't whisper.
If I broke your speakers, but you shouldn't buy them at the dollar store. That's where I got my policy.
I was waiting for that. I was
Hey!
All right, and so everybody knows that fake news is what seems to be captivating media these days. So in order to participate in that, here is my version of this week's fake news.
I'm at the Zog, and this is fake news. U.S. President Donald Trump read a mostly well-regarded speech off a teleprompter Monday, then went bonkers at a rally in Phoenix on Tuesday. Overrated director and self-declared uber-feminist Joss Whedon, who lectures men about feminism, was revealed by his ex-wife to be completely full of shit. Speaking of Whedon, who took over for Zack Snyder on the Justice League movie, Batman Ben Affleck said that the film is, quote, an interesting product of two directors, which is a nice way to say a big piece of shit. Hillary Clinton released narrative sections of her upcoming book. Not to be outdone, Donald Trump released an excerpt of a book he's been working on. Jason Kenney declined an invitation to Calgary's Gay Pride Parade, his spokesman insisting that Kenney is just standing up for gay people who are still ashamed. Stupid! Former Liberal Cabinet Minister Judy Foote is resigning from politics to return to her previous occupation, menacing Ninja Turtles. All right, that one sucked. And the head of the Canadian Medical Association issued a statement that the federal government's plan to change tax rules for doctors is ill-conceived, sexist, and will ultimately harm patient care. He cared so much that he interrupted his 80-day balloon ride with Passepartout. And yes, I only included that story because I wanted to make that reference. I'm at the Zog, and this has been Fake News.
Nothing like a Jules Verne reference to start off a show, huh? All right, so that is fake news for the week. And also, this is big news. This week, if you're following me on Twitter and on Facebook, I was doing a little archiving in my vault where I have all the old tapes from the last 35 years. No, I've been around 30 years. And found some real gems. Found a VHS copy of my very first VJ shift on Much Music. Found a copy of the Much Music Christmas Carol, starring me, Rick Campanelli, Namagheni. I think Rachel might have been in it. That only ever aired once. They don't even have a copy of it. I have the copy of it. There was a bunch of stuff that I found that's like, really, wow, what the hell? So there's an awful lot of stuff I found in the vault. And I also have every one of the Fromage specials. I have the master tapes. So when the FU Network does a proper launch in October, there's going to be a section for subscribers, for supporters, and in that section, you'll be able to access all the old Fromage stuff. You'll be able to access my first Much Music throw, and a bunch of the other stuff that I did over the years in Much Music, celebrity interviews, all that stuff will be in there. But you're gonna have to cough up some bucks to get in there, because this stuff doesn't run for free. Actually, half the time this stuff doesn't even run. So that's why we need some money. All right, you ready to move on to the topics?
Is that a request for affirmation?
or were you asking the internet?
Oh, was it a
Didn't know if it
rhetoric
was
question?
Okay, before the
rhetorical.
show, okay, audience, before the show, Ed said he was going to like call on us directly if he wanted us to speak, otherwise shut up, and he didn't call on anyone, so we were all obedient
What, I have to
minions.
say all your names like freaking Robert?
Obviously.
One at a
Well,
time.
you're the one that set the rules.
For God's sakes, these people are all a little bit
Lord from the
So
heavens.
let's take another take. Hang on, there we go.
All right,
Pretend that didn't happen.
there we go. Okay,
Okay, ready, go. Try it again.
Hey guys, is it time to move on to our topics?
Hey!
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Special Olympics of Broadcasting.
Well,
I'm getting in trouble for that.
I'm gonna throw my panini half at you if you don't
All right.
stop with
Okay.
that.
I
of fromage.
went online to Twitter and
Eat
asked
weenus.
people. There, that's my punishment. Get your hands in my eyes on weenus. All right. So I went online to Twitter and asked people, hey, what topics would you like to see us cover this week? And most of the response was people retweeting my question, which is of no help whatsoever. We did get some responses. We'll show a couple of those now. Leanna, there we go. Gary, one of our buddies, Gary, said Canadians playing the U.S. Powerball lottery. Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. And Geeky Princess, people naming their babies Eclipse. No, I'm not. One day we will get into discussing shit like that. People who name their children like dogs or goldfish.
Hashtag.
They don't realize that it lasts the person's entire life. We will get into that another time. That we're not going to cover. But something we are going to cover is a suggestion from one of you. And it is from Gary again. The ESPN decision to remove broadcaster Robert Lee because of his name.
Question.
Okay, yes,
Is
again.
that a facial tattoo that Geeky Princess has?
It's probably a glitter
It's either
design.
that or is she like cosplaying like
that's glitter.
that one Doctor Who? Because whatever it is, it's pretty cool.
Body paint.
It's pretty good.
Can we do a show here? What the hell is this? Everyone's looking for squirrels all of a
But
sudden.
glitter is pretty cool.
Well, that's why we have Max to do heritage moments for us.
All right, and that's coming up later.
Squirrel.
Hinterland
Tell us
Heritage
more
with the
about
Bear.
chipmunk.
All right, so if you didn't hear the story, in the wake of the kerfuffle that started over the removal of the statue of Confederate leader Robert E. Lee, or Confederate General Robert E. Lee, in Charlottesville, and all that ensued from there, ESPN took their broadcaster named Robert Lee off of the broadcast. Didn't fire him, but took him off the broadcast because his name is Robert Lee. And if you look at him right there, yeah, I can see how people would confuse him for a Confederate general.
Look at the pin on his lapel. Doesn't it say I'm a bigot racist and it's got the General Lee on there and
He's
shit?
Asian. I told you to put your hand up.
Sorry, Mr.
But you
Mr.
got
Saw.
mad. You got mad at us for not
Shut
making
up.
noise. So
So there is.
I love newspapers. By the way, they couldn't find a better picture.
What do you mean? That's a great picture.
They never do.
It looks like he just soiled his shorts.
Yeah.
He's a sportscaster.
Maybe he just
They always
farted.
look
He
like
probably
that.
just farted.
You're
It's
not
the
wrong.
hockey arena. How do you smell if one person
Okay,
farts?
so let's go to the chat.
Okay.
Gianna, what
Yes.
are people in the chat thinking about this? Was it a sensible decision? Overreacting?
They're not saying anything yet.
They're not.
So I'm
Good for
waiting.
them. Thank you for all of your help, chat.
I can tell you
Only
it's a
Chris
load of horse
said.
shit.
Chris is asking, so everybody with the name of somebody who was shitty has to deal with the same hate even if it was just bad luck?
Well, that's pretty much what they're saying. Nobody would confuse Robert Lee,
Exactly.
the Asian sportscaster, for Robert E. Lee, the very deceased Confederate general.
Very
They're not
good.
gonna meet.
Hey, come watch. Look on ESPN. Deceased Confederate General Robert E. Lee is doing
Zombie.
play-by-play.
The zombie.
It actually takes a new low opinion of American television viewers that they think that would cause a problem. But I guess it's such a tinderbox in the U.S. right now that like we don't want anyone to say that we're being insensitive. Yes, Leanna has her hand up.
Are they going to have to change the name of the main character in the show Shooter now?
Why?
His name's Bob Lee.
Oh.
No,
Bob
Bob
Lee
Lee is
Swagger.
not Robert E. Lee. So
What do you
it's
think
okay.
Bob is short for? He's a Southerner.
No, he's a
His
Southerner.
name's Bob Lee Swagger.
No, he's a Southerner, so Bob
Bobby.
is short for Bob.
Well,
That's
like,
right.
look,
No,
Yeah.
it's short for Robert. His name is Robert Lee. It's just Bob Lee.
like,
My name is Bob Lee.
Okay.
Because my daddy's name is Bobby Jim, and my granddaddy's name is Bobby Joe, so I'm Bobby Lee.
Billy Bob.
That's how it works in the
Okay,
South. I live
okay.
in Tennessee.
And it's about to
yeah, no, like, Anthony and I were talking about this earlier. Like, obviously the guy is Asian, and last name Lee is like Smith in North America, for fuck's sakes. I mean, you're talking about the guy's name is fucking Robert Lee. It's not Adolf Hitler, Robert E.
And
Lee.
his parents had
it's
never
Robert
heard.
fucking Lee.
Yeah, his
We need
parents-
to calm our shit.
I don't
We
think
gotta
his-
stop.
I'm pretty sure his middle name is not fucking.
Exactly.
He was
Exactly. And even if it was with a PH, who fucking cares?
It could be Asian. Full king.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? This is beyond
That would be
lunacy at this
tied.
point that we've reached that a guy's name is his name's Robert fucking Lee with a PH for
we
crying out
okay,
loud.
thank
Pretty
you.
metal.
God.
Okay, you're repeating yourself. Leanna.
The best part is his parents had never heard of Robert E. Lee. He was named after Robert Redford.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And
Yeah,
if there was
I
ever
read
a
that.
liberal in Hollywood,
He was named after salad dressing.
My understanding is that there's now a movement to get Stan Lee taken out of all the Marvel movies. Just because he's got the last name.
Don't joke about that. People think it's real.
All right.
This is how fake
Gianna,
news gets
what are they saying
started.
on the chat?
Chris is saying that his grandpa's name was Bob Lee, but spelled L-E-Y, and you would pronounce it L-Lay.
L-E-Y?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you would
Lay,
pronounce it
wouldn't it?
Lay.
Bob Lay.
And so he's saying
Bob
that
Lay.
the joke doesn't work when audible.
He's right. So why did he? It wasn't even a joke.
The non sequitur.
Thanks for sharing nonsense that you know is crap.
The funny thing is that your other story, Joss Whedon's ex-wife's name is Kay Cole. You say that fast, it sounds like Kay Cole.
Kay Cole.
And I swear all of this is just viral marketing for the Ubisoft South Park video game that's coming out, South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually true, but that's the conspiracy.
I'm on the
And
pre-order.
at E3, they deliberately say it wrong. So you hear this very straight-laced woman on the intercom going, "The next screening for South Park: The Fractured Butthole will begin in 5 minutes." And you hear everybody going,
Alright, if we're going to be this mature, back when I was in high school, I called the front office and said that I was a parent, I was trying to reach my son. My name was Jim Hunt, and I'm trying to reach my son. And this is for real. And standing right there outside the office on the payphones, I heard them announce, "Would Mike Hunt please come to the office?" Mike Hunt. I heard everyone in the cafeteria burst out laughing.
You're in big trouble.
And then I sort of slunk off.
Oh, great.
Yeah, alright. Boy, this show is so mature this week. Yeah.
you haven't blown the fart buttons yet.
Oh,
I have one.
You did already?
I don't want to overdo it.
she got it used to it as a sound check.
Anything more as opinions on the chat?
Humor.
Go on.
Max?
PC Gone Too Far by Richard. Great high level humor. Ha ha. Mike Hunt, classic.
All right,
That sums it up.
Max reads the internet chat. It's a new segment. Okay, so it's a little ridiculous, but people are really sensitive these days. But it's getting a little bit silly. This whole worrying about names. The statue of Robert E. Lee. It wasn't that his name was there. It's that it was a statue representing him that was physically there. I don't think that the ESPN is just these are just supposed to be like, sports guys. We're sports guys. We don't give a shit about nothing. And they're the biggest pussies altogether as broadcasters.
They actually said that they were concerned about online harassment, not that the average person would be offended, but people would use it as an excuse.
To harass the guy, the Asian guy, for being named Robert Lee?
Yeah,
They were afraid that people online would attack the guy for his name being Robert Lee.
They were afraid people would concern troll, like just use it to start something. That it wouldn't be real outrage, it would be fake outrage, which people do.
Do.
It do.
Do.
There we go.
Oh no.
It's like I'm in a nursing school.
How many weeks have you been on this show? You've descended. One of us. One of us.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I see there are Cliff Bars. Are there the nut butter variety as well?
Oh no.
Did you put your hand up?
I'm gonna go look.
You can't leave. Somebody's got to direct.
They're oatmeal raisin.
Ah, well, that's not very funny.
No,
No
oatmeal
nut butter.
raisin's not at all funny.
No.
What's going on this week? You guys all got sunstroke?
We're on fire!
A little bit.
This is what happens when, see, I paid for dinner before the show. Usually I let them have them do the show on an empty stomach.
Our energy levels
And now that
Now we have way too much energy.
they're well fed, this is what happens.
Yeah, I had coffee before I came here.
I think it's because we had another near disaster before the show started.
I blame it on the wheat butter.
Yeah, I think we're just all really punchy because the show almost didn't happen again.
That happens every week.
I know, but at this point
Wait, they
it's just
use
become
weed butter
funny.
next door?
No.
Don't say anything.
No, if that were true, I'd be having a massive allergic reaction right now, and it's not
Alright,
happening.
so
So it's a lie.
I should have said that.
I'm like, no, my skin isn't burning. I'm all good. Yeah.
Maybe you're not allergic then.
No, I'm very allergic.
Ed just left the building by the way.
Ed's gone for a...
Ed's gone.
I'm superfluous at this point.
Having a
You
smoke.
guys have your little slumber party. Alright? Start braiding each other's hair. Okay?
Sure, we could do that.
Tell ghost
Yeah, you
stories.
don't need me apparently.
Giada is in the hair
said
industry.
you wanted more aggression.
Ed, come back. Come on.
Come
Okay,
on.
so the controversy though has started to spread here north of the border, where teachers in where is it? Eastern Ontario.
It's all of Ontario. It's the union.
Teachers in Ontario
Public
want a
schools.
school that is named after Sir John A. Macdonald to get his name stripped from the school because of his actions towards Indigenous people back in the day. I don't know how the chat feels about this, but you know,
I have strong opinions on this topic.
you,
Yeah.
redhead with strong
No.
opinions.
That's stereotyping it.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Yes, but when it's fact, it's fact.
Fuck off, Ed.
My opinion is, you know what? You have to judge people in the context of their times, that's true. But what he did was freaking horrible. He starved natives because he wanted to get them to move. And under any circumstance, any time in history, starving people, not a good thing. So as much as I don't want to say like jump on the bandwagon of renaming everything, because if you go looking through history, Canadian history or any history, and you find people who are, you know, remarkable men of history who've had accomplishments, you will find that they are all in one way or another assholes. They hated Jews, they hated blacks, they didn't support women's rights. Basically, they were all pieces of crap. There is no great person in history, really, who wasn't a piece of crap. So we have to go through and parse, bit by bit, how much of a piece of crap were you? And I think Sir John A. Macdonald, who starved Native people, that's a huge piece of crap. So I would support removing his name from the school. Leanna.
Okay, can I do a counterpoint on this?
Yeah, that's right. Why do you think I went to you?
Okay.
Agree with me?
Oh, I'm not allowed to agree with you? Excellent, I've been doing my job. Okay, so I have two issues.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we'll hear it first, and if it's any good, we'll let you go to the second.
Well, first, I can understand, like, if it was a school in, like, Manitoba or Saskatchewan where those atrocities against First Nations peoples happened, they actually starved them to get them to move. But they specifically isolate the bad things that John A. Macdonald did to the First Nations people and not the bad things he did to, say, the Chinese. He did terrible things to Asian Canadians too, and they get no love in the outrage. My other issue
Wait,
is...
hang on a second. I have a question.
What?
Are you saying that they should leave the statue there because they only talked about what he did to Native people? Didn't throw in the Asians as well?
I'm not done with my opinion. But
Okay,
first
good,
of
'cause that
all,
made no sense. Go on.
if you're going to complain about the horrible things someone did, you can't pick one horrible thing. You have to judge the person as a whole. And he's got a whole laundry list of horrible things. However, they are eclipsed by some of the other similar atrocities that went on. He was responsible for a few thousand deaths, and at first it's like, my God, that's awful. What a horrible human being. Millions of Indian, like East Indian people died because of the British occupation of India, and this challenge was launched in Peel region, and if you're talking about representation of population, East Indians outnumber Canadian Indians in Peel region, I'm pretty sure. So irony there, but also if you're gonna yank John A. Macdonald's name off, you have to yank George Brown's name off the school for anti-Semitism, you have to yank Laurier's name off for the prejudices that he held. We're really getting into this, unfortunately, proving Donald Trump right, and this is the part I really, really hate, that, Trump was the one that went, where does it stop? You know, do we start pulling down statues of George Washington? Well, John A. Macdonald is our George Washington. He was actually the founding Prime Minister of Canada, and that matters. I think that by removing the reminders of Canadian history, we allow Canadians now to continue to perpetuate our national myth, which is nothing bad happened here. And just as we're starting to get, you know, people on our money that remind us that, hey, we were just as racist as anybody else, you know, now we're trying to remove this reminder that our founding fathers had their own issues and their own prejudices and their own very, very bad things. And I think that allows us to dodge the fact that we do have to watch it here. We do have to be careful of our own assumptions and things like that, allowing us to duck it. I mean, it's funny because even Kathleen Wynne, who is usually in favor of taking down everything, I have the article here, she's opposed to the, which really surprised me. Well, it really surprised me because I thought she'd take the easy, you know, keep the teachers union happy thing. She's a liberal. That's what they normally do. Doesn't surprise me that the Conservatives are against the name change, but Kathleen Wynne being against it surprised me. Now, of course, certain First Nations chiefs and everything like that are all for it.
But you said it at the very kickoff of your whole diatribe on this, Ed, is that if we're going to eliminate everything that's made us uncomfortable about the context of our past, there's going to be a lot. And even individually, I mean, we've said things. Shit, you just said that 30 years ago you said a whole bunch of stuff on tape that I'm sure if you look back on, you'd be like, wow, I can't believe I said that. Are you going to erase the tapes because of something you said 30 years ago? You're talking to Ed the Sock, Ronnie. Oh, you got a point there. But still, this is, as you said, our very first prime minister, right? This is a guy who helped get the whole fucking country together under one, like, there's balance. There's got to be the context of time. And the zeitgeist of that time was endorsing what he said. The populace endorsed what he said. It doesn't mean that we agree. It doesn't mean that it's right. But at the time, that's what was acceptable.
There actually is a historical record to back up what Lonnie's saying. There are historical records of the public challenge to John A. Macdonald's treatment of the Aboriginal Canadians was not that he starved them. It's that he gave some food at all to the Cree. And that was when he stood up and basically, well, I gave them near starvation. He bragged that he pushed them to near starvation. And his primary critics didn't want the near there. They wanted them starved right out. They didn't want them relocated. They wanted them dead. They were happy to expose them to tuberculosis.
All right.
But, I mean, this is the thing.
No, okay, look, I'm sorry. There are certain things that you can look at in the context of the time and say, all right, in the context of the time, he might have been considered a liberal. Starving people is never okay. Never. Now, Lonnie, in the
near starvation.
Near
starvation.
Lonnie, in the context of the time, lots of Germans supported Hitler.
Well, no, there was a large silent neutral party in Nazi Germany.
Dangerous territory.
No, there is a massive difference. There were a lot of people who didn't and were a silent neutral.
First of all, you just Godwin. You Godwin, bad internet puppet.
No
Godwining. No Godwin, and Auschwitz is open as a museum. So they kept it open as a reminder, and a museum is not the same as a school.
After Hitler.
No, but let me finish.
Auschwitz High School.
Let me finish.
Okay?
How many First Nations Canadians live in Brampton?
It doesn't matter what's wrong.
No, it does matter. It does matter because it's like peanut allergies in school. If there's nobody there with a peanut allergy, if there isn't a major population to be offended, then I think this is a non-issue. Like I said, in Manitoba or Saskatchewan or even Northern Ontario, where there are large First Nations populations, I think absolutely we should show sensitivity and we should, allow them to go to school without seeing this every single day because there are bans up there. But within the confines of the GTA, guess what? Indian kids have way bigger problems than the name of the school. They're called effing Indians and a lot worse on, a weekly basis.
When you're giving a statue or a school name in honor of somebody who starved the people, let me ask you.
Okay, but that's not why. Okay, whoa.
Has a peanut ever starved people?
Well, yeah.
No, a peanut ever caused people to starve?
If you can't eat peanuts.
No, you don't starve your other food. Listen.
Wait, you didn't say peanuts and other food. I'm not going to eat Snoopy.
And this is is where. Put the damn train thing up, because that's what you just did to it.
What do you mean?
That's ridiculous.
You know my thing about eating things that look like things. That's exactly what my brain meant. Intellectually, I knew where you were going. All right, fine. No, but I have a point, okay? This is different than the statues of the Jim Crow era that they're going crazy over in the U.S. Because schools were not named Sir John A. Macdonald to tell First Nations, Aboriginal, Indigenous Canadians, whatever we're supposed to be calling them this week, know your place, brown people. That's not what they were doing. It was just kind of ignorance. Yay, it's our first prime minister. Whereas those statues that were erected during the Jim Crow era, don't laugh about erected, and the 60s as a backlash to the civil rights movement, those were erected specifically to remind black people that they were second-class citizens. And that context, I think, is incredibly important.
All right, so... No, shut up, Lonnie.
All right,
Lonnie's agreeing with me. I'm a little bit scared.
All right. You should be very, very afraid. Look,
This is the week we agree.
if the name...
It's the sandwich.
If somebody
sandwich.
represents something bad in our history, then they represent something bad in our history. If you want to put up statues and change the signs and put a historical context and say, yeah, he did this, but he also did that, okay. But naming a school after somebody is an honor. And it doesn't matter where in the country it is, it's an honor. If you're going to say, well, it'll bother people in Manitoba, so we'll take it away there, but it's okay to continue to honor a guy who was part of this barbarism. Listen, it's not okay to say, well, yeah, the guy was an asshole, but it was a long time ago. We can't let the history allow us to continue to cover up the horrible shit that people did and forgive
But
him.
who's covering it up? And nobody's really forgiving him, but he is our first prime minister. That's it. He's our first prime. We're going to ignore the fact that he's our first prime minister?
Yeah, if we keep the
We're
name
gonna
on the
keep
school,
doing
we
it.
can say we're all racist scumbags.
Oh yeah,
I
my alma mater is Ryerson, and they were ready to tear that statue down, but he founded the public school system. Yes, he played a part in the residential school system. We don't sit there and celebrate that, but shit, we got free public education because of Ryerson.
I mean,
we're gonna shit can that.
We downplay the achievements of Nellie McClung because she was a eugenicist as well, and I think that, that's because she did do something, and we acknowledge that, but, the eugenics thing is that horrible word problematic. But Ed, I have 2 points.
You had 2 points before, now you have 2 more
Yeah, and
points.
then you talked again, and I have 2 more points.
Oh, for crying out loud. What is this, like the Hydra cut off its head?
First of all,
Place?
Okay, first of all, where I went to school, nobody found it an honor to have their name on the school. Because it was always, where'd you go to school? C.W. Jeffries. Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not always an honor to have your name on the school.
Yeah, it self-regulates.
Yeah, it sort of self-regulates. So, that's what they could do, take all those names and put them in the ghetto. So everybody just goes, oh, every time the school's name. But also,
Was it because
I
of the
think
name or
this
because
is
of the
ironic. I think it is ironic that you're arguing that starvation is always bad the week that we're all giddy because you fed us paninis.
I don't starve you to death, I just starve you a little.
But I realize
That's what John A. McDonald did.
Just make you
this
happy.
is the
Just
first
enough to
show
keep us
in
quiet.
4 weeks where I am not starving and need to pee during the broadcast.
Okay, but it's
so,
never going to happen like this again, because I don't like you guys are getting obstreperous.
We're savages, Ed?
Here's the
Do
thing.
you need to tame the savages? Answer carefully.
No, I actually just need to stop the broadcast. So
That'd do
here's,
it.
Yeah,
here's
but
my suggestion.
you do realize
Here's my
that.
suggestion.
Well, the other thing about John A. Macdonald, though, is he's a big reason that Canada has both an English and a French identity. He was in favor of negotiations with the French when other people wanted to be like, screw it. So you can either blame him or praise him for that,
Yeah,
too.
that was a stupid move, too.
He was also, yes, he was the guy who oversaw the creation of the Indian Act, which was horrible. It set up all the bad things that we now still have to fix. However, he was Indigenous Affairs Minister, or the Indian Minister, whatever they called it back then, during the period where there was
them Redskins and
well,
savages.
there was a major court ruling that said that Indigenous Canadians only had a moral claim to the land they were on, not any actual legal claim, and he still advocated for treaties with Indigenous Canadians, not just driving them off their land, claiming they own nothing. So it's a more complicated issue than, hey, Robert E. Lee led armies so that, you know, Americans could kill Americans to own another type of person. Like, there's a lot more shades of gray
All right, you know what?
in what's going on.
Here's what I think.
What do you think?
We should take the names of famous Canadians off of schools, except for Mark Garneau, because he's recent and there was nothing wrong with him. He went to space.
McLaughlin
We should take what?
McLaughlin was a pretty good.
Except some would say that Mark Garneau is a well-known liberal, and so that biases against conservatives. It makes conservatives feel uncomfortable. But this is a legitimate argument. In our highly partisan political climate, why are we naming schools after political partisans?
Okay, that's dumb. Here's what we should... He was named because he was an astronaut. Here's what we should do. Take the names of historical people off of schools, replace it with the names of, like, cartoon and TV characters. And here's why.
Take off all the Johnny McDonald, change them all to Ed the Sock?
No, some Littlest Hobo, some Star Lost,
Anana!
Anana,
Anana!
crazy
Leko
little
Anana!
Relic Hunter?
Yeah.
Leko Anana! Anana!
Yeah, Casey and Finnegan Junior High. See,
Friendly Giant?
Friendly Giant? Yeah, secondary school. Here's the reason. Because unlike historical people who, at the time of their lives, people, you know, were able to weave myths about them, and then later on we find out the horrible truth. Artificial, you know, characters who exist in pop culture, we're never going to find out any dark secrets about them. They're never going to be caught getting a blowjob from a hooker at a
Elmo.
All right? So we just, no, not Pee Wee Herman. We call it Pee Wee Herman, not Paul Rubens. Besides, he's American. We should be naming schools after Canadian pop culture heroes. And yes, there should be an Ed the Sock University.
University all of a sudden.
Ed Grimley
It's a big jump from public school.
Yeah, Ed Grimley Middle School.
Ed Grimley Middle School?
Yeah, Bob and Doug Kindergarten. Just think about it.
Gord
This
Downey.
stops there being...
Somebody just said that. Gord Downey's cool.
Yeah,
And
But
you'll have
honestly,
Will
if you
somebody
dig,
else suggested that Canada should name schools after Wolverine.
truth of the matter is,
let's
though,
just locate, this is really dark, but let's just locate all the schools near power lines, call them Gord Downey High.
you know, I have the most neutral solution of them all. Number them. Numbers aren't offensive.
That's
Because
what
if you
they
dig
do.
deep enough into anybody's personality or
Skinny
person
puppy.
or past,
Skinny puppy.
you'll
Skinny
find something.
puppy.
So this
Technical
number, I went to
University.
school number 5. Oh, that school's shit.
Dean
One,
Sock
right?
or Professor
Five.
Was
Sock?
that Gianna? I swear I was
Skinny
wasting
Puppy
time with
Technical
dead air.
Institute.
Look at me.
That's
Skinny Puppy Technical University.
All right.
very cool.
And then somebody's asking, would you be Dean Sock or Professor Sock?
Well, who the hell says I'd be anywhere near that place?
Well,
Well, you
you
wanna name it after you. You
Name it
kind of
after
have to be around.
you
it.
have to go urinate on the flagstone to consecrate it. I mean, that makes it authentic.
That's right.
You people are crude. You're very crass. All right. Next subject. The Joker movie. I don't know if you heard this, but apparently Martin Scorsese has signed on to produce a gritty and grounded Joker origin story movie. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sick of the frickin' Joker. All right? Enough of the Joker. You know what? There exists in real life a murderous clown. How come nobody wants to make a movie out of John Wayne Gacy? All right? Really, he was an interesting character. He was colorful. He's good as a Batman villain. But now it's too much. Everywhere we go, you see the frickin' Joker. I'm tired of the Joker. I don't want to see a movie with the Joker in it. I don't want to see a Batman movie with the Joker in it. I don't want to see any more Joker shit. Enough. Overdone. Saturated. What does the chat say, Gianna?
Sorry, I got distracted. I found this article that says why an origin movie for the Joker is a terrible idea.
Because it's stupid.
Because there's no confirmed origin for the Joker either. I mean,
Right.
it could have happened.
The
It's
mystery
an
is what makes
Elseworld.
him interesting.
Yeah, it's an Elseworld.
The chat is not
essentially.
saying anything about the movie yet.
They're waiting for you to say something they can
Exactly.
disagree with. That's what happens with all comic book fights.
Yeah.
They say nothing until they can get outraged. So I can give my opinions on the Defenders, and that'll piss everybody off.
Well, I'm still talking about Joker here.
Yeah, okay.
Is anyone okay? How does it? I will ask now. Go around the horn.
Yeah.
Lonnie, thoughts about the Joker?
Sorry, I was busy fixing shit and being useful for a second. I dig Heath Ledger's Joker, and the Killing Joke was awesome. I don't need a backstory. It's like Michael Myers in Halloween when Rob Zombie decided to turn him into some hillbilly backwards fuck. I didn't need to know that. I just knew Michael Myers was evil incarnate, and I was happy with that. You don't need a backstory on the fucking Joker.
All right, Anthony.
Well, doesn't it kind of delegitimize all the previous Jokers? Because in Batman with Michael Keaton, it shows where the Joker came from.
That's
He
true.
was a dude that fell into a chemical plant thing. And
Yeah, but I
that's where
think
he
this
came
is going
from.
to be what he was before he fell into the
He
vat.
was a businessman, wasn't he? Like he
Well,
ran
he's
a
a
corporation or
thief
something?
and he's a burglar.
Yeah,
and
he was like
the
a
Red
gangster or
Hood.
something.
He was the Red Hood, but it's
Yeah.
another story.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I don't think it's more fuel for the fire. A lot of people will be able to debate it. I mean, that's cool. But fuck, I don't care where the Joker came from. I like the mystery surrounding whether we know where he comes from or
Yeah,
not.
stop teasing me with that. Okay, that's not funny.
It's mango, Ed. It's
It's
delicious.
not funny. Put it away.
You taunted me with food that looks
Yeah,
like
if you
things.
keep doing that, I'm gonna eat the Minions Tic Tacs live on air and crunch their little snacks. All right, Giada, thoughts about the Joker movie?
So,
Yeah,
Richard is asking. Sorry, Max. Richard is asking, how about one of the other Batman villains?
Clayface.
Calendar Man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a good one.
No, it's not. I was saying it because it was stupid.
I like Calendar
How
Man.
about Killer Moth?
I still say Clayface.
All right. Anything else there, Giada?
Max?
I enjoyed Heath Ledger and Jared Leto in their portrayals, but I'm tired of the character too. I'm tired of Batman in general. It feels like everything that could have been done to that character has been done. I like to see some.
New unused characters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The thing about the Joker though is it's a cosplay that skinny guys can wear without needing a dance belt or showing like their nether region fruit bowl.
Kratos
That's
body.
why it's popular.
Yeah, but you don't need a movie to make that popular. And really, Martin Scorsese's going to do it. One of the greatest filmmakers of American history. Martin Scorsese. What was his previous project? The backstory on Bazooka Joe. Like,
I actually.
what is Pesky? Why does he wear that sweater all the way up to his nose? Like, who gives a shit? Martin Scorsese is wasting his talents on the frickin' Joker. He was a guy who wore a red hood and fell in acid, and he came out, and he's a murderous clown. There you go. Thank you very much. That's the story.
Yeah.
All this complexity, people, and they also say, well, the Joker is Batman's alter ego. He's the dark version of the... No, he's not. He's just a frickin' villain. All this crap they did with the Keaton Batman, how the Joker is sort of the dark mirror image of Batman. No, he's not. He's just a villain. Why the psychology? Why do people have to try to go in and psychoanalyze characters that come off of 4-color pages? And Anthony had his hand up first.
I was wondering if you think they'll be able to get Cesar Romero for that role in the new Joker.
Well, sure, if they have a medium...
He's dead!
He's dead!
And you mentioned about
Lawrence Olivier was in Sky Captain, and he was dead.
Here's the thing about the Joker, though. Batman veers way too much into the territory about the guy who bullied you in school, which is part of the reason that Batman villains are so popular, because Batman is an asshole more often than not. At least sort of mid-90s until, like, Rebirth-ish.
All right, Max, you have a hand up
Well,
there?
the last recent thing that Scorsese was involved was that Vinyl TV series.
Oh yeah. Did you like that?
Yeah.
It was not too bad, but it was just the storylines.
I think
Been
he
there,
likes.
done that.
I think he likes funding for his projects, and at least with the Joker, it's slightly different than the same movie he keeps having to make over and over and over again.
Well,
You know, it'll probably have Robert De Niro in some role because you have to. But
I really want to see
It'll be-
the history of the Legion of Superheroes character, Matter Eater Lad, who's capable
That's
of
pretty
eating
cool.
any kind of substance. There's a movie, because I want to know what his crap is like. Because if he can eat a bicycle, what's it come out like the other end? It's like,
Tiny little bicycle.
I didn't know I had a 10-speed earlier today. I forgot.
I still want a Plastic Man movie.
A Plastic Man movie would be awesome. I don't think Scorsese's the right guy, because...
No, I think Andy Serkis should play him.
the
The guy who played Gollum and King Kong and Caesar.
Oh, I know who's going to play the Joker.
Who?
Joe Pesci.
Hey.
Am I a clown? Am I a clown? Exactly.
That would be actually very
You
funny.
see that scene unfolding in your head now? Do I amuse you? Am I a clown?
He's already done the Joker movie.
See, there you
Yeah,
go.
there-
Good fellas.
that segment.
Good done.
Just recolor the face.
There you go. Problem solved, right?
All right.
There you
All right,
go.
any more chat conversation about it?
We do need a Captain Canuck movie.
A Captain Canuck movie I would like. I like Captain Canuck.
Does he beat up Johnny McDonald for being mean to Asian
Takes his time machine and gives him
Yeah,
a
he
wall.
uses his time machine.
What about a Catwoman film with
That isn't shit?
that it's done by David Cronenberg though?
Oh, David Cronenberg.
That could be kind of
Catwoman?
good.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just no Joker. I've had enough with the Joker.
You just don't like the Joker.
He's overused.
See, here's
Did
what
they
I
ever do a
think.
TV series about the guy who was behind the fence in Home Improvement?
Wilson?
No, he was interesting in the context of the show, but you don't need to know more.
But-
this whole business is fascination with the Joker. Because bad guys are supposed to be so much more interesting than heroes. No, they're not. You know what? It doesn't take much to figure out why people, would want to rob and steal and shit like that. We understand those evil impulses.
easy.
It's more interesting to me why somebody would go out of their way and put themselves in harm's way and try to stop that. Heroes are more interesting than villains. Everyone says, "Oh, the villain is a great role. Villains are far more interesting." No, they're not. Villains are easy to understand. Heroes are more complex. Liana.
If they get Mark Hamill to play him, I'm totally on board. A live-action Joker movie with Mark Hamill,
Oh,
even if
he's
it's
got the
just
voice.
him doing the framing sequences, like, come on, that will finally give him his due as the greatest Joker ever. The
Yeah.
only reason, like, people over a certain age don't associate him with the Joker is because they think of Jack Nicholson, who was shite, and, Heath Ledger, who was good, but not as good as Mark Hamill, and I would love to see him finally get his due somehow. That's the problem. Like, if you don't cast him, everybody is going to be compared to him, and it's one of those things like, forget it, go home, it's done. Like, he's the dude.
Yeah, but only geeks know that.
No, because people grew up on Batman the Animated Series. I mean, people are really attached to that show, and between that and the video games, you've got an audience of tens of millions, possibly over 100 million people who are familiar with that character. Like, that's tough to compete with.
Yeah, but they said you couldn't replace Sean Connery as Bond either, and here we are 4,000
It
years
took a
later.
while.
Well, George Lazenby was a bit of a misstep.
Yeah,
All right.
if you factor, there were, 3 Bonds until we hit, 4.
Timothy
Dalton.
Dalton.
That's
Roger
right,
Moore.
right. Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore,
George Lazenby.
George Lazenby, Roger Moore,
Connery.
what's that?
Connery.
Connery again.
Yeah, Connery came back.
And then there was
Yeah.
Casino
Yeah.
Royale, the original one,
And then
which I
Dalton
forget
was
who
one
it
of the
was
late
before
80s.
Connery.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
like a comedy.
Oh yeah, it was David Niven and
There
Rick
you go,
Allen.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Actually, were the original James Bonds.
So it took a while. That was the problem with Spider-Man as well. Like, once you get sort of the guy who everybody's associated with, a couple people have to kind of fall on the sword until you kind of get one that, all right, this is different enough that I can, I've got the taste of that out of my mouth.
Right.
I can accept a new guy.
New Punisher.
They're gonna have a real problem with Wolverine as well if they decide to recast that, because it was like, getting used to a new pope. Wolverine's been around so long in the multi-universe.
Yeah. People say, they always say, first of all, they complain about who's cast initially. Then they say no one else could have played that character. And then they recast, and then that person plays it, and they like that person, and that person moves on. They say you could never recast because that guy was the best. And then they go, who gives a shit as long as the movie's good? Giada, any more interesting comments?
The chat loves Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes.
I should show, this was Nick's idea, Throwback Thursday. I went to Mark Hamill's house.
Such a cool guy.
In Malibu. I went to his house and did an interview. This is way back. I did an interview with him walking around his house and stuff. He showed us around his house. And
bang through those voices with the cells. Like, damn, I remember that my whole life. It was so good.
And what I remember is that they had these little shock pads between rooms because they were trying to keep their dog out of the kitchen. And I remember walking over the damn shock pads and getting shocked every time.
Trying to keep you out of the kitchen.
Well, it didn't work. And I didn't think it worked for the dog either. Anyway, now that my vault is open, I'll be pulling that out and representing that.
See, I have good ideas.
Yeah?
I have good ideas.
Yeah, when are you going to start sharing them? Because tonight hasn't been it.
What do you
You
mean
said
they like
pulling
Mark
out.
Hamill? I mean, to me, Batman is a harder character to play than the Joker, personally, because the Joker, you get to be all over the place.
Yeah.
With Batman, it's like, Kevin Conroy just had the voice, but Michael Keaton did a pretty good job, and he's still my favorite Batman.
He played a better Bruce Wayne than most.
Yes, he was a better Bruce Wayne. Absolutely.
I think you guys are both wrong. I think Val Kilmer was the best.
Oh, now you're just I'm
couldn't even
gonna.
finish
It's going to be a fucking riot now.
He was better than Clooney, though. Kilmer was better.
Actually, he was better than Clooney.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't Clooney's fault.
The whole movie
shit.
sucked.
That's true.
All right.
Wow, trolling Ed.
Okay, so
Penis.
now it's time to move on. Are we finished yet with the penis?
Nope.
I can't see what's going on behind me.
All right.
Cock's
It's gonna nap here.
Uh-oh.
What?
What's going on?
All right. It's time for us to. By the way, chat. We want you involved every week. So help suggest topics during the week, and don't forget to go at Facebook, hit like and share. And when you're on YouTube, also YouTube, make sure you subscribe.
Do it.
Okay? Do that. Tell your friends about the fact that we're here. And also Patreon. Don't forget patreon.com. Help us out a few bucks a month. Come on, think about it. The cost of 2 coffees a month. 2 freaking coffees, $10 a month. That helps. Look, it's not going to help save 5 starving children, but it will help us keep moving this forward. And
It'll help 4 starving production volunteers.
Yeah, it'll allow me to feed these people every now and again, though I see it's a mistake. I'm going to have to give them the kind of thing that kidnappers give people, like stuff that's like, it has sustenance but no protein or carbohydrates. So
Like what, dried
You
bread?
realize if you treat us like Sir John A. Macdonald, that they may not name that university after you anymore, you know?
Lonnie, here's a little secret.
Yeah.
They're not naming shit after me.
That's not true. Not true. They named an eland at the Toronto Zoo after you.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so you have had something.
That's
named after
cute.
you.
Newland. Is that Tiger Woods' ex?
Also,
Oh no.
Chris is saying that you should tell people that subscribing is free because some people don't realize it for some reason.
Oh, yes, subscribing is free. Good point, Chris. Hit subscribe, it's free. No salesman will
People
call.
love free stuff.
Just a click away, everybody.
Just a
Free.
click
Just
away.
it's
Click
free
away.
shit.
Free shit!
That's right.
You only pay for separate shipping and handling.
Time only. You can subscribe for free.
Yeah, for a limited time.
That's right, limited time, which lasts forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
In perpetuity.
We saved this for the end because it's going to be a classic like the last one we did. Everyone knows the Hinterland Who's Who's, the Canadian classics. Could name a school after that. We were playing them as in their original form, in situ, so to speak, and then thought, you know what? Let's jazz these up a little bit. Let's make them a little more updated. So our very own Max did one for the Chipmunk, and it was so well received. We asked Max to do a Hinterland Who's Who update for the Grizzly Bear. So Max, are you ready to debut this thing?
Oh yes, we're getting ready, folks.
All right.
It's gonna be a good one.
Here it is, Leanna. You ready to go with it?
I think everything needs to be muted for this to work, but I'm not sure.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay,
All right.
so we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right, here we go.
A grizzly bear. Now these grizzly bears are among those animals that you surely don't want to have as a pet. Now those bears are very huge and they weigh more than 400 pounds. If they get provoked and start to attack. If they see something nice, they just won't pick on the guy because that person seems like he's not there to bother me. He's not there to bother me. I just do love grizzly bears only when they're stuffed.
For more information about the grizzly bear, contact the Canadian Wildlife Service.
Only when they're stuffed.
All right.
Hey, booyaka!
I think I have a hit one.
Very
I think
nice.
that's a huge chance. I think I should do another one like this.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah.
I think we may get you to the prairie dog next.
Oh.
We'll
That's
get.
so fun.
We gotta get you shooting more of these. Okay.
Is there one of the Wolverine?
Yeah. No, I don't think they have one of the Wolverine.
I think some people should like send in like cell phone footage of like the animals in their backyard, so like raccoons and squirrels and everything like that. We do like a totally original one.
We do the Toronto downtown
Oh my God,
trash
that would
panda.
be
Yeah, like the
So
animals in your
awesome.
neighborhood kind of
And
thing.
Max does the voiceovers.
Yes.
Max is our guy.
That's right.
All right. Okay, that's the end of the show. I want to thank everybody who made the show great. Also want to thank Lonnie and Anthony and Leanna and Gianna and Max.
Woo! Yeah!
All right. So thank you, everybody. And don't forget to share and subscribe. Remember, limited time only. Subscriptions are free.
It's free!
Do it. And we'll see you next week from Pigeon Row headquarters here in Toronto. Oh, no, wait. Our next week, are we going to take a long Labor Day weekend break?
My
Are we
birthday's
taking a break, or are we just going to do the Ask Ed format again?
Maybe we'll just do the Ask Ed format next week so everyone else can have a break.
Okay.
All right, put up a hand. Everyone, do you guys want a little bit of a holiday next weekend?
No,
No.
not really.
No.
I like it.
my birthday's next week.
As long as
Happy birthday
All right,
to Max.
Gotta give Max a birthday.
Happy
All
birthday.
right, so we'll
Well,
see
we
you.
could always do it the week after.
To Max.
But yes, we have to do a Max birthday show.
All right, so it looks like we'll probably be back next week. All right, so we'll see you then. Come back for Max's birthday party. It'll be pin the tail on the dog. We're gonna do all kinds of stuff. All
Can I
right.
bring a cake?
Yeah, cake and everything.
Sheet
You can't
cake.
eat the cake till after the show because I see what happens to people when they get sugar in
We
it.
have to
On,
find out
on
what-
sugar, we would be so much better.
no.
Yeah, awesome.
I
Okay,
make
crazy,
cakes.
Yeah, maybe you'll make a cake.
I make cake. Yeah, poop emoji cake.
I'm at
Laugh
the
out
Throwback.
loud, shake my
I'm
hand.
goodbye now, so everyone shut up. I'm at the puppet. Don't you be either. Aloha. I'm so embarrassed to speak.